In part B, we'll be demonstrating a few more commands. We'll be using two additional files which are already located in the datapower.com website. These files are already uploaded in the cluster. Let's check. You see that we have created a pig part B. So if you see inside part B, you should see the files. There is an input subdirectory. Inside that, we should see the files. So if you can do employee part-time, let's do a cat just to verify that the records are there. Here they are, tab separated fields. Let's do for the week. Great. So let's run some commands. Let's invoke the grunt shell, type pig. I will be copying and pasting the commands that are already posted on the DataPower website. So let's create a new bag called EMP that is going to load the employee PT, which is located under the input subdirectory. The fields are the ID, the name, and the age, as well as the hours per week that the employee has been working. So if we copy this, paste, just to make sure that the records are loaded properly, let's do a dump on the EMP. The results are there. Let's do the same thing for the employee week. So I'm going to create a new bag called EMP week, and I'm going to load the data from the employee week. The fields here is ID, name, and the week integer, number of weeks that each employee has been working. You can run a dump. I'll not run a dump here. Let's do a describe instead. Let's describe in EMP. It shows that we have an ID, which is integer, name, and so on. Let's do a describe EMP week to see that fields are there. Now let's group those employees by hours. Let's run hours, group employee by hours. Notice hours is already a field in the employee bag, so we can group by this field. Let's do a dump on hours just to make sure that the results are exactly. So it's hours by hours. We can do the same thing by week. So let's do group by employee week by week. So let's do a group employee week by week, group employee week by week, and put that in the bag WK. We do dump WK. Now let's run a COGROUP function. The COGROUP here, so paste it here. So the COGROUP employee by ID and employee week by ID. So let's do a dump group ID to see the results. As you can see, the COGROUP groups records of two bags by the same field. The field is the ID here, and the records from both bags are here. Let's do a union function, and let's see what the union can do. Let's create we call it a big file. Which performs a union on the employee and employee week. Let's run it, and let's do a dump to see what this operation has done. Simply has placed both bags into a bigger bag. Now let's do an order by. So let's list all employees by the number of hours that they have been working. So let's paste this one here first. So let's create a bag called most hours that orders employee by the hours in the descending order. We'll dump on most hours. We'll list the employees by their number of hours in the descending order. So if you want the top 3 employees, let's do a limit the most hours, the previous bag that we just created, to 3. So if you do a dump top employees, just as we did in the previous tutorials, we can store these results back into the distributed file system. And you get the message that 3 records are stored. Now, if you want to check them, let's quit. And check the let's see what we have here. Let's do the output. And here we have the results. Let's do a cat on the file that holds the results. And these are the 3 records saved back into the cluster. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if you have any questions. If you want to learn more about big data analytics, subscribe to this channel. Also, follow me on Twitter at Professor Benny, or join my LinkedIn network. You can always email me with any questions.